CC, it seems, for See You Soon, right? So much CC, so many ways to engage, so many ways to retaliate up against the aggression of Falcons AP.Bren.
Well, this is going to be the battle of the skies once again between the Falcons AP.Bren and the Cambodian Owls See You Soon to kick off our second day of the knockouts for the mid-season cup. And a battle for the semi-final spot. We jump into the land of Dawn, taking a look at, of course, how things are going to get situated here in the early game, of course. I like that we mentioned it's the Wombo combo setup, you know, coming from See You Soon. Already some early action kind of testing the waters here in the mid lane, but I think that's one thing we really have to take. Whoa, actually, Bra's getting poked really far down. FCAP wants to go ahead and put the pressure on this purple.
That's the power of the Lilia in the mid lane. It's basically almost auto prio every single time. You're able to shove the wave so easily, and especially here with the help of the Minotaur. Because of that, Kyle TZ picks up a free lethal, and he'll be a bit ahead of MP when it comes to the clear. But also, Felix. That's an Impure Rage, not the normal Brave Smite we're used to seeing on Terizla.
It's funny, you know, we've seen that like a couple times now where, and I feel like it's still debatable, but he gets enough, I feel like, sustain also just having the Festival of Blood. You know, Brave Smite, and Brave Smite is a little overkill for some, but you take the Impure Rage, that helps you kind of spam your abilities a little bit more too. You get some mana there, of course, to work around with. But I think biggest thing is also just talking about the matchup in the jungle. You know, you have this Hayabusa and MP the King, and he's been honestly probably one of the biggest contributors to See You Soon getting to this point. And he might become, you know, now going against this Julian pick like we've seen from Kyle TZ could be crucial. Already top lane.
Great prediction on the hatch chain. Gets Flap TZ a few resets on the Vengeance. Ra gets popped in very, very low. Force to flick around. Boxy now shoving himself in front, forcing Few to use the Purify. Felix going for it, but now gets knocked up. Vengeance reset for Octesian's Kyle. Will just be able to walk in to pick up first blood. See You Soon. A bit of overextension up top.
Yeah, I guess, like, you know, it was more so like they thought they were going to be able to get that kill, but the rotation decision from Falcons AP.Bren gave him that upper hand, and then I feel like they were just like, oh man, there's way too many here than we thought. So this is also going to be an objective now taken over here for Falcons AP.Bren pretty easily at this early point of the game.
It was a free objective, a free kill as well up top. See You Soon, this is already very uncharacteristic. Usually they have a lot of prio in the mid lane, and that's why here, if you take a look at it, maybe that's why Boxy the King actually went for the Brave Smite instead of the Concussive Blast. You know, instead of actually trying to force a 50-50, a bio matchup in the mid lane, he's like, you know what, okay, the Lilia's going to win anyways, might as well go for additional sustain for some of these skirmishes later on, but Few on the Lilia, he really has a hold on these choke points, man.
Yeah, he does. And I think part of that, going back to with Boxy, is like, you obviously want to get your implosion set up. You want to be able to get the, you know, the CC there, because you also have a, you know, this time around a Vexana, and we've seen, honestly, teams haven't been prioritizing the Vexana pickup as much, I feel like, lately. So this is also nice to see this Vexana and also the Lilia pop up. We saw this yesterday. I think you mentioned it was like a 100% win rate, right, for the Lilia right now. And so that's part of the case is for See You Soon. You know, you want Boxy to live a little bit longer, Ra hopefully too, able to get the damage, but this all brings us back to also that gold lane matchup. Man, bulletproof Marco, Super Marco.
20 KD. 20
KDA, you know, at this point. And Sol, obviously, on the carry pick, has to get time to build up here on this, you know, and you relying on the fact that, all right, I have very little range on this carry, so I'm going to be fighting against this kind of lineup from Falcons AP.Bren, where they actually have good setup potential as well. You can already see Thunderbelt being picked up here. By the way, I'll never forget the commercials for the Thunderbelt, man. You know, it's really good commercials for the new items here.
Oh, that's the final slash from the flicker right into the chain, straight into the combo. Flap TZ picking up a double early on. That's the Falcons AP.Bren ambush.
I thought you were going to say that's the Thunderbelt. That's that spin kick he did in the commercial.
Close enough.
But he did it with the Arla here. Again, this is showing that, yes, See You Soon has a Wombo combo composition, but Falcons AP.Bren, they can fight back too. Look at this.
Another final slash, forcing the penalty zone now from Felix, trying to go away, and flickers out to safety, but Few is still so healthy. Pops into black shoes. Flap TZ gets rid of him with a Vengeance. Boxy trying to go for it, has the implosion, just goes onto the Minotaur as MP walks forward, goes to the Shadow Kill too, but Owen reads it, knocks him out with the Minuan's Fury, straight into Few's damage. 5-0 Falcons AP.Bren.
Yeah, the answer to deal with this Hayabusa just seems to be the setup. Look at this once again, STC replay here. That final slash with that Thunder Belt as well from Flap. Absolutely beautiful. Here as well.
The timing.
Yeah, the timing with the Minoan Fury knocking up MP the King. He has no chance to get back. You can see, hey, Flap, he's feeling pretty good.
I love you in a different language, you know?
Every time we see one of these players do that, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, I care for you.
I care for you.
You up, you know? I'm carry you, right?
Good luck next time.
Good luck next time. Yes.
Taking a look at the items here falling in place. Hunter's Strike is going to be picked up for MP the King. You know, so he's at least got that first item locked in, but he's kind of falling behind. Look at the Genius Wand already here for Kyle Teasy. And that actually works pretty well with the fact that, hey, we already saw the damage that the Lilia can do. Now you have the Genius Wand working in that coordination with the Lilia pick. Oh, and then Ogwin gets the Flask of the Oasis already. So it gets increasingly more difficult for Siasoon at this point in the game to actually penetrate through that healing. Also, look at this. Despite being labeled the hyper-aggressive, Siasoon has yet to record a first blood in MSC 2024.
That's an interesting stat, despite the fact that, you know, Siasoon have been playing with the Banes, have been playing with a lot of the aggressive heroes in the jungle, too. You would expect them to go for a little bit more of this. Engages, pickoffs, but it's all been Kyle Teasy and Flap Teasy looking for these plays up top, a knockup into a vengeance. Felix not able to survive there.
Sorry, Felix wants to, you know, he wants to play. He's sorry, but he wants to play. He gets continuously knocked in the air here, and already Charizla, you know, 0-3. This is a very tough position to be in because of the fact that, once again, your job as the Charizla is to just set up.
Final slash flicker onto Ra. Now with the flicker as well, it's going to be Ogwin catching him. Flap Teasy going to be caught in the implosion. Has the Eternal Guard there, placed out by Ra, but it doesn't connect onto anyone. Boxy able to get himself back to safety, as in the bottom lane, it's just a little bit of these gold laners trying to find a better angle on each other. No kills on the board, a lot of resources burnt though.
Yeah, this is, in this situation, now the third turtle's up. I don't know, man. Siasoon, I don't know if they want to fight this. Maybe just go for this steal. But it looks like they're just going to give it up. Sorry, Felix cannot go down again here. He's already quite gapped. He's only level 7. He's about to hit level 8, but Flap's level 10 and 4-0-2.
Yikes.
Feather of Heaven going to be picked up by Kyle Teasy. At least Soul has just been, you know, farming up. He's been farming. Gold lane experience.
For sure. MP is also going to be able to pick up the Sky Piercer here in the 7th minute of the game. Boxy picks up the Radiant Armor. Definitely now understands the threat of not just the Lilia, but the Shred coming down from the Julian. It's very, very deceiving, you know, that damage. You don't expect it, and then suddenly your HP bar just gets completely demolished, deleted. Super Marco sieging down in the bottom lane with the Roger. It seems like Boxy can't even walk up. He was going to be able to dish out some damage. Ogwin has the knockup. Good Eternal Guard with the Terrify to disengage from that skirmish. And for Siasoon, it's really all about getting the gold lane to a spot where he can actually farm, because Soul is struggling now. Yeah,
I would say, you know, looking at the items here too, for Siasoon, it's got to be, we'll see you later in this game, because they need time, man, to build up. You can see the gap between the gold lane alone is going to continue to build up here. For Siasoon, it's really just letting Soul farm up, get to the point where he can actually pop off the damage, because like you mentioned, Mirko, the Julian is enough, even with that Genius Wand combination to come up and kind of shred these tankier heroes like this. Look at Boxy just trying to get into this bush, get some vision available, holding down the tier 1. Look at that.
He might have to flicker, you know, if this continues. Felix going to be displaced by the final slash. Straight into the damage of the Vengeance. Now as MP the King walks forward with a Quad Shadow. Not enough first. It takes Felix down. The few tries to dive under the tier 1 and tier 2, sandwiching them in their own turret. And you can see the key here. That is going to be the thing that Falcons AP.Bren is looking for. Wow, already flickering out too. Just out of skill 1.
I like how they, after the team fight, you know, they're like, here, this is what you're playing for again. You know,
Shadow kill. There's no Black Shoes on Few, but they do still have the Motivation Roar. And for MP the King, he will still have that Quad Shadow to disengage. Still, this is a dominant game so far for Falcons AP.Bren.
Yeah, very dominant. Also, great job. They actually got the tier 1 down after all that work. Hold on.
Boxy? Boxy popped in the implosion. There with the Terrify too, but there's no Eternal Guard. Super Marco goes with the Lycan Pounce, baits out the flicker. Now no flicker on Boxy. Even when he gets that implosion, Falcons AP.Bren,
that's a Lord.
Read it out so easily, and because of that, yeah, they're just gonna go straight to the Lord. This is Lord number 1, Falcons AP.Bren. A perfect game so far. Not even a turret traded.
Yeah.
at all. I mean, now they do. They get a bottom lane turret, right, with the waves pushed in. But the fact that it took 9 minutes for one turret to be taken by See You Soon is concerning, Naisu.
It is. And, you know, you really have to respect the way that Falcons AP.Bren plays the macro game. Sometimes they're not after these kills, and they know it. They can actually just get some of these spells out like we saw them do against Boxy, where he burned the flicker, he burned the implosion. That's a green light to go take the Lord. And so now they're going to find themselves trying to defend up here on the top. They should be able to do okay, but I'm worried. I'm actually worried about their clearing potential because of the lead that Falcons AP.Bren has. We're talking, you know, 6,000 gold ahead. When this Lord does get to the base, they might just force the issue and force a situation where See You Soon's left with their backs against the wall, kind of like, all right, well, I guess we're going to have to fight this.
There's not much they can do right now except for play tower defense in their own base, because even few can dive under the tier 2, utilizing waves that is all pushing in towards See You Soon. Just using the emotes, popping into holy defense, and now going to be attacking with another wave buildup in the mid lane too. Top lane with the Lord now. FlapTZ looking for an angle to go in as MP the King pops into Quad Shadow and the Shadow kill. And you can see the poke, the FlapTZ able to find the final slash with the Flicker. Boxy gonna get the implosion down, but the Minion's Fury catches them again. They're unable to go for the engage. Kyle goes and uses the winner crowd to escape. That's a stun of the Felix. No kills traded like a pound by Super Marco as he dives deep in the base turret. MP can only just Quad Shadow back and forth. And for Falcons AP.Bren, they are flying across the skies. These base turrets stand no chance. 2 base turrets with the first Lord.
Yeah, the first Lord, and you saw how masterfully that went for Falcons AP.Bren, the way they juggled that turret, they initiated, and even at the cost of 1 life, I mean, they're going to get the base fully exposed here.
You know, MP going to be immobilized, doesn't catch him with the final slash. FlapTZ.
Couple hits away.
They're going to take it chill. They've taken 2 base turrets. That in itself is impressive.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know, looking at the items too, falling into place. Winter's Crown now here for Kyle TZ. Yes, and
that's
also
another one, Fu.
That's another one. The FlapTZ gets a 2. And, you know, with that, Boxy making a play.
Great pick, but it's only onto Flap. He can pop in the Vengeance now, and it's going to be the enhanced chain to knock him up. Another Vengeance in the final slash right into the Lycan Pout. Now another immobility onto the backside. FlapTZ with a dive again under the base. What are they going to do? MP gets knocked up, and the prediction right into the Quad Shadow. What are they made of? Falcons AP.Bren dominating, stomping, and now diving on Ra, forcing him back on the base.
They're going to juggle the base?
They're going to try to do it, man, but I don't think they can go for the kill. They don't even need to. They can just go straight for the base that is wide open. 13-1, 12 minutes.
13-1 in the first game. The juggle, the masterful macro play from Falcons AP.Bren.
Yikes.
And that's going to further up Super Marco, the bulletproof Marco KDA, man. He did not die in that game either.
I mean, only 1 guy died. They only died once. It's 13-1.
Oh, man, See You Soon. Wow. The lineup made sense. Wombo combo, but even with that, when you get outscaled, outplayed in the beginning of the game like that, I mean, even this Hayabusa pick from MP the King was not enough. It just tickled the frontliners of Falcons AP.Bren. Great game here, very dominant from Falcons AP.Bren. We're going to throw it over to the panelists to see what they have to say.
Thank you very much. And I got to say, it was almost a perfect game, but unfortunately, the kids idle died at the end. But you know what? 13-1. We see FlapTZ exchanging words with See You Soon, but overall,
confirmation.
It wasn't a close game.
It wasn't. I gotta say though, this is a very good last 2 picks coming out from the entirety of Falcons AP.Bren, especially because they went in for the Minotaur very early on, which I thought is one of those heroes that are decent versus assassins. I think in M5 it has been proven that Minotaur actually counters some of the assassins like Nolan and Joy from before, because you heal up your teammates
with the flash as well.
Exactly, with the flash, and then you can just punish the assassins when they do go for that play, which Olguin was able to do so many times in the game. However, I think the biggest problem that See You Soon had to face was Few because of that Lilia pick. I believe it was genius. Yeah. Because Tiger, Minotaur, Grok, they hate playing against the Lilia, and the fact that you're forced to pick up the Tiger last, that's a masterful drafting.
No, I completely agree. Like, I feel like the Lilia really shaped the tempo of this matchup. Even Mirko said it himself. Like, picking up the Lilia is almost always mid-prio. And I believe that Falcons AP.Bren getting that mid-prio makes it so that see you soon, MP the King doesn't get the farm. Ra doesn't get to rotate, so that they can't really play the game that they want to play.
Yeah. I understand why they had to go for the Tigreal, but at the same time, I think the Hayabusa picked 4th was probably the problem there for Season, because that kind of limited their options when it comes to dealing with the early game.
Yeah, Hayabusa didn't really have anyone he could majorly target, and because Ra was stuck at the mid lane, they couldn't go for any early game ganks, they couldn't really pull anything off, and then once Fuse started to scale, once they got a little bit of a lead, they were just getting zoned out completely.
Yeah, Rod did the most amount of damage, but I believe it's about poking Master Ogwen down. But again, I kind of feel like see you soon after this first game, because again, we have to remember it is a best of 5.
Yeah.
They can still adjust, but if they're going to adjust, Wolf, in your opinion, what have they learned from game number 1?
Don't reveal the MP the King hero as soon as possible. I think the carry as well was far too early to be picked up. Or you already know, though, that you're going to be facing up against the Roger. I've always felt that carry versus Roger is very Roger-sided.
I agree.
Some people will argue that it is a 50-50. Well, that's because they're good, but but if I were to play it,
Soul is good. Soul is good. Okay,
exactly.
Soul is good.
That's why they picked it up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, yeah, they can argue, but then just one rotation, for example, you're gonna have some trouble. I think we saw in, I believe it was the first 2 minutes, or I think third minute, that Soul was already struggling in that lane versus the Roger. Super Marco was like half a level ahead of Soul.
And 1,300 gold difference as well, just from the gold lane.
From the gold lane, which is, I think it's not Soul's problem. I think playing the carry versus Super Marco's Roger is not gonna bode well for you.
What do you think about it, Trunks?
I think Soul, nice who said it, Soul kind of had the gold lane experience. He never got ganked, he never got killed, but you need time on that hero, and falling behind 1,000 gold's even worse, and time was just clicking away very, very fast in that game. Soul never had the opportunity to come online, and his front line could never make a play because Few was just zoning them away. It was just a problem.
Yeah. I believe that Soul's Beatrix was amazing from when we saw it. I think that could have been the pickup.
Yeah.
At the same time, you don't reveal it very early. Like third pick carry when going up against the Roger, it's kind of
I agree.
It's difficult to pull off.
I mean, I feel like the idea coming in for the carry was that they will have time, because I feel like what Ra and Boxy wants to do is actually to gank the goal lane to make sure that they have a lead against the bulletproof Marco. But the thing is, Few and Master Ogwen winning that hard in the mid stops everything. So personally for me, I feel like they have to make sure that the mid lane is capable of winning so that it can actually sustain well.
So do we think one of the answers, since Marco has always been the unkillable, right? The bulletproof Marco, do we think the answer is see you soon, hard ganks gold? Like, try to heavy focus, try to take down Marco early on if you can. But that means you have to get through Few. You have to make sure you're leaving Few behind and not holding down mid. You know, what do you sacrifice to get that?
No, I feel like the Kaja band was genius. Kaja carry and Boxy is so good on the Kaja. I feel like with the Kaja, maybe we'd have seen a different game. That's especially for me, because again, I feel like, although to be fair, with the Lilia pick anyways, the Kaja might be a non-factor.
Yeah, there was a play that I recall coming out from Farflux, wherein they went in for Assassin for TNZ, where there will be a time where mid lane, Roam, and the EX plane will switch, right? So that they all can get level 4 before the turtle. What TNZ did was to time that properly. When the Roamer had to clear the mid lane, he went to the gold lane as the AA Mon and was able to get a kill even when he's just level 3, which then stopped the gold laner. So that play from yesterday, that could happen. If you're playing the Assassins, maybe that's the time that you're looking for. Maybe, yeah, sure, you can go for the gold laners. It's not easily done, but there is a rotation for that.
I mean, honestly, looking at this matchup, the first game I thought would have been much closer. I mean, soon we'll have a video from MP the King. Perhaps that can give us a little bit of an insight about how he's feeling about this matchup in general. So if it's ready, let's play the video of MP the King.
Esports, yeah, we're made to be stronger. Champions, I don't see them. The new king has arrived. Kayo na ang susunod.
Oh, that last shot though.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Over the Falcons nest?
Can I just say,
That was amazing. That's poetry.
MP the King looks like a very nice guy, but that video gives me like new villain arc vibes. Like, it's like, you know what? You guys have done enough. It's time for me to be the villain.
Yep.
And you know what?
Next.
If this is his villain era, I'm all for it.
Yep.
The new king. I like
The
that.
new
The new king. MP.
king is here.
The new king.
Wow.
I win hard.
Yeah, I just hope that the following games will not be as one-sided as the first game.
Agree.
Hopefully, they can reset. I think that they were doing what they were doing
Yes.
against Falcons and Fnatic in the group stages in game number 1 versus Falcons AP.Bren.
With that being said, let's check out our Sony MVP. And it's going to be Flapteezy on that Arlet. Talking about the engages Flapteezy has done. I still remember the mid
that one.
This is so good.
Whew, beautifully done. The flicker as well. The timing was just so good because you know that if it's like 30 seconds before the turtle, you're kind of just setting up. Around 15 seconds before the turtle, you're not that kind of secure already. And you want to get into the place around the turtle pit, but Flapteezy timed that so well. Very early activation coming out from this X-Blade Arlet.
Yeah, I mean, it's bringing me back to M5 a bit. It's got probably one of the most like proactive Arlots I've seen a lot of players play. This is our first time seeing him actually played an MC so far. I've been waiting for it. And his rotations, his pickoff, his displacements, I mean, he seems to always be there at the right time.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, looking at how Flapteezy plays, like, it seemed effortless. 12 KDA and 92% kill participation. I like what our caster said. When he gets this Arlet, when Kalteezy gets the Julian, it's like, okay, fine, I guess I don't get to play the game.
Yeah.
I go to the lane, I die.
Yeah.
I kill some minions, I die. Gee, thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I think that if you're looking at Fnatic Falcons AP.Bren's composition, there's a lot of combos that you can do.
Look at this, Flapteezy's here.
There he is.
The MVP.
He's our only
MVP.
hope.
Our only hope.
Save us, Flapteezy. You're our only hope.
Flapteezy, your Arlet will save us.
Yeah, but with that being said, again, his Arlet is amazing. And the thing that makes it much more scarier is the fact that he doesn't need the Arlet. I'm pretty sure he could push us to 80 unique hero picks with how much hero that he can use in the EXP lane.
What are the heroes that we're expecting from the EXP? Maybe a Khalid, for example, we have not seen.
The Uranus was banned. Perhaps that might be one of the strats as well.
Yep. Esmeralda, maybe?
Esmeralda. I like the Khalid idea.
Yeah.
I've been talking about the Esmeralda for quite a long time now. Still surprised that it's not being picked up by any of the teams here.
Maybe in the grand finals.
Maybe in the grand finals.
But with that being said, there's only a few seconds left for See You Soon as well as Falcons AP.Bren going into the drafting phase.
Yeah.
See You Soon, judging by how fast they did their initial draft, I kind of feel like this is one of those drafts where you write on your napkin, on paper. It's like, okay, if it's open, pick it up. If it's open, pick it up. If it's open, pick it up. I feel like now, seeing what Falcon AP.Bren brings to the table, they got to take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Use the 30-second timer as much as you want just to really think about, is this the order that you want it to be picked on? And are there any other options?
I think I think it's not just about the time as well. It's also the draft placement. And I believe that if you have been watching the panel since yesterday, I've always been very critical about these marksman picks, particularly the carry so far. 3 out of the 3 carry games that we've seen have lost since yesterday, the knockout stages. So I have reservations about that. Maybe if it was the last pick, it could have made a lot more sense since it will not be countered. The fact that they already know that it's Roger that was picked up by FCAP anyways, they should have answered that with a different hero. So hoping for some changes here for See You Soon.
I think there's some possibilities. They are on the blue side this time. They do get the first pick. They can contest for things like the Roger, like the Ling, and I'm excited to see how FCAP wants to decide this because they seem very willing to always take the Roger up front. So and I was wondering if maybe they would keep the Ling open for a trade, but they decide to ban it out. See You Soon takes out the Lu Yi. FCAP, do we think the Roger sticks through and See You Soon just picks it up immediately?
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe the only outlier is a Valentina. Yeah, like you said, if it will not be banned, because that means that the Faramis also is an instrumental pick for both teams. All right, so this is a problem for See You Soon. They banned Arlet, right? And what's gonna happen is FCAP will ban the Valentina, and they will now have access to the Faramis, which has always been banned. So Roger will be. Oh,
so Valentina open
different.
For See You Soon. Faramis also still open.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the way that Falcon says, See You Soon wants to play, like they want to protect MP the King.
Huh.
Actually, yeah, no, both heroes work well. But if it were me, I'll pick up the Valentina.
Harith banned out as well, right? No, Harith's still open, so See You Soon. But we've only seen him pick the Harith one time. And you mentioned that it's something that they'd kind of want to stick away from maybe. But I think at this point it might be something they have to go for. They go for the Valentina instead, though.
Interesting. So they're willing to pin down See You Soon to this point where the Valentina will be picked up. And then maybe this is the time where they will pick the utility junglers. So Turtles and Harith, very natural pickups here coming out from Falcons AP.Bren.
I think it's very scary because having the Harith as well as the Turtles, you're kind of already winning both lanes at this point. Because the thing is, just now, even on the Arlet, FlapTZ was doing well against the Turizla, and that's not a winning matchup for the Arlet. So now him having the innate winning matchup, it's going to be a scary game for See You Soon.
I think you go Moskov now if you're See You Soon.
Moskov
you don't
banned.
have a... Oh,
Moskov banned, there's not a lot of gold laners left.
Ooh.
That's why I really wanted to see him pick up the Harith because pretty much most of the options.
There we go. Shout out to Leo. Bane picked up.
Bane Edith very early, and I would understand why, because it has always been banned in second phase. It's gonna be your MP, the King hero. Curious to see how the Falcons AP.Bren will pick it up.
The last time I saw the Bane, he's basically unkillable. After two items like the War Axe as well as the Thunderbelt, he's like, yeah, come at me. I can 1v3, I can 1v4.
Okay, Hayabusa immediately picked up by FCAP, already revealing their 3 lanes, jungle, gold, as well as the XP lane. It's gonna be the Kaja that is gonna be the ban for FCAP. Very natural. Okay, so you're looking at mid lane choices here for
maybe ban
FCAP.
For now, we gotta look at the weak link in See You Soon is Sarian Felix, because he always overextends and sometimes doesn't know his hero limits. This is coming from Falcons AP.Bren, FlapTZ.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Second phase now. I think Minotaur could definitely be a decent ban for See You Soon here.
That's right.
It's a big problem. FCAP Ogwen's just able to use it so well, and I think See You Soon wants to get rid of some of that aggression. Definitely a possibility.
Yeah. What if See You Soon just picks up a Phoveus in this game, you know?
That's spicy.
That's gonna be spicy. Great versus Harith.
I've seen a Phoveus full damage build, and yes, I can confirm it does well against Harith.
Yeah. Hayabusa as well. You have a lot of gap closing against that hero. The Cho, very good ban coming off from FCAP. And See You Soon, like I said, Minotaur, perhaps.
Yeah, I would say Minotaur is pretty good ban.
Yeah.
Unless the Bane does well against the Minotaur. I haven't seen that interaction all that well. I don't know how much the healing does against the Crab Claw Cannon.
Yeah. Or maybe because it's like Edith, the ban the Grok. What if FCAP just picks up Lolita because it's... Ooh, Eve. Bane plates playing against that. I think if you're See You Soon, you might want to consider getting the Mathilda just so that you can kind of fix this problem for the Eve.
You know, I want to say this. I was talking to Jays a bit, and he was mentioning that MP the King likes to play the Bane as a mage build sometimes. He's one of the few Bane players that's really rocking that. So I'm excited to see how he brings, and that's more sustainability, more possibilities. And when Turizla wants to bring this big dive in, you have the way to push it back. They pick up the Yuzong, another popular pick for Sorry I'm Felix, and then carry
I'm mouthing
once again.
carry against Eve again?
Yeah.
We already saw that yesterday.
It's a problem.
And there's the Lolita. I knew it.
Maybe Soul can prove you wrong. I mean, like,
Oh, man.
sometimes you just gotta trust your gut for this one, Wolf. Then
I hope I'm wrong, but that's a no from me.
here's the thing. I hope you're wrong too. Now the casters, what are you guys hoping for? Because I'm throwing it over to you guys.
Hey, you know what? I'm molding too, Wolf. And I think Mirko, he looks like he is as well.
You know, yesterday I was like, Grok Brody, perfect.
Yeah.
That will do it for Fireflux. Then they picked the carry. Me and Beloy and DJY. We got a few people there in the stands. We all facepalm together. That was a synchronized facepalm.
Oh, man. Well,
now it's you and me. And
now
Wolf.
it's me and you and Wolf.
And Lavelle and Trax.
I think, oh yeah, I think quite a few people, but
oh, man.
we're going to have to see if there's a different factor here and maybe a reason why Soul is bringing the carry against, the Eve. There's a whole lot that can actually play against this carry, but we jump into here. Game number 2 in this best of 5. After a devastating game for Siasoon in game number 1, Falcons AP.Bren will go ahead and just get started here. Fall into place 2, we can already see, right? It is going to be a whole lot of damage coming out from Kyle Teasy. And mind you, the last time he played at this Hayabusa, he was like 10-1 or something like that, something insane. So he's got the Warcry emblem, and he's going to be looking to set the pace here that MP the King couldn't do in the previous game. And yeah, going back to it, it is his villain arc right now, man.
It really is, right? I mean, we all watched the video earlier. We'll talk about that later, but, you know, something that I do want to talk about maybe for the carry pick is the fact that at least with carry pick, it's an okay matchup against the Harith. Not in a way where you actually win, because Harith is basically almost an auto-win lane as well.
Yeah.
But the carry can actually dodge away from the Synchro Fission quite easily with her skill, with her dash. So maybe that's the reason Soul wants to go for this carry pick again. It's all about surviving in lane, and this time maybe he'll have a better time up against the Harith than the previous game when he was up against the Roger, which was very, very difficult. And I'm glad that we can talk a little bit more about the compositions here, because I think we have a lot to say about both compositions.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the video, man. I thought we were going to bring it back
We'll
to the video.
save the video for later. Don't worry.
You know, because, like, even looking at the composition from Siasoon, now, the Bane, you know, as we have a little technical break here, you know, have a break, have a Kit Kat, by the way, for all those watching if you've got them. But that's the thing. Bane, now in the hands of MP the King, can work out really well. But I feel like the hardest part about this is working against the multiple things against the deadliest catch even. You know, for the most part, you're playing, if you get set up by a penalty zone alone from Flap Teasy, and I think, if I recall, he did take Brave Smite this time around.
He did.
So he's going to be going for that little more sustain, a little more durability. And there's just so much crowd control that can play against, I feel like, Deadliest Catch. The damage could still be good, and I think Trex pointed out a good thing as well. He is one of the few guys that likes to build Mage Bane. You know, I'm not sure how his build's going to alter here this time around, but I think part of this really is just being able to actually find the right timing on your Deadliest Catch, because I don't know, man. It makes me worry because the Eve is now in play. If this was a different mage, I wouldn't worry so much.
Exactly.
But because real-world manipulation is there, they'll trap you in once your Deadliest Catch is done, or even if you use it first. So I just feel like there's a lot of kind of boxes that need to be checked here from Siasoon to actually win a team fight.
The thing is, right, I mean, on paper, I think before the Lolita pick, it all makes sense. You know, all right, we got the Bane. That's going to be great. You can use the Deadly Catch, the Crab Claw Cannon. You can use the Primal Wrath as well to deal as much damage as you can in the team fights. But then you have a Lolita. So now my big question is the Deadly Catch a projectile? Can you turn it around with the Bulwark and the Crab Claw
jump
Cannon?
over?
Exactly, right? Does the Lolita use the sharks against him? Or, I mean, for the Crab Claw Cannon, I think we know for sure that gets bounced back, right? And also for the Primal Wrath basic attacks and the carry. So those 3 picks, even without the Deadly Catch, is already kind of countered by the Guardian's Bulwark here for the Lolita. And on top of that, they have ways to lock you down. The penalty zone, and most importantly, the real-world manipulation. And I think for Few, we don't get to see Few on a carry pick often. You know, he's more of that utility for the team.
Yeah.
But now that he's on the Eve, expect him to just use the real-world manipulation as a carry. He'll use it probably last to try to catch everybody. I instantly think about how Aqua used it in MSC 2022. You know,
I remember.
Carry, yeah.
I remember that. I think I was on desk with you.
Ult to turn the team fight around, but I think it might not be a turn. It might just be a stomp.
Yeah. You know, again, and that's partly due to what we saw in game 1. I mean, and when you're just going draft for draft here, like I said, there's a lot of things that CSUN has to do to be able to just handle 1 or 2 of these heroes with the lineup that they brought. I think part of that is, all right, you at least have a Valentina, you know, but most of the time you're probably just going to be taking, you know, the Eve for yourself, the real world manipulation for yourself.
Then the Haya's like, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and then you're locked up there. So this is going to be, I feel like when you really look at this CSUN, as we jump back into the game here for game number 2, is how can they get the pace set early on? It's funny because going back to the fact, too, this is an aggressive team that has not found a first blood yet. So with this lineup, it looks like they might want to go ahead and break that record right now. But so far for Falcons AP.Bren, they're spotting this one out.
Get up top, Felix gonna be able to get them damage on the flap. Easy to deadly catch.
They got it.
Chases him down. There you go.
They got it.
For the stats, first blood. The first blood ever for CSUN at MSC.
There we go. And
you just have to curse it.
Yeah, that works like that. So with that, they're actually going to be able to get this turtle too. So this is what I was saying, man. With the lineup they have, if they can get the momentum going early on, that's great. But also, they're spending a lot of time here. Oh,
bottom lane, that's a solo kill, Soul. That's why he picks the carry.
He picks the carry, but he goes down in the exchange.
But he just solo killed Bulletproof Marco.
Hey, that's going to affect the KDA now of Bulletproof Marco. And, you know, maybe Soul's like, hey, this is why I locked in that carry. So he gets the kill there. But at the same time, you know, Super Marco gets one himself. And you can already see here, too, holding on to that real-world manipulation over here for Ra. A lot of attention here on that bottom side for CSUN. If they can, you know, actually at this point, I feel like they can just leave Soul to his own.
Yeah.
The only thing Soul has to watch out for is when that flicker's not available, because of the fact that Super Marco can play a little more aggressive, especially with now that he has that Zaman Force and playing around that. So really good start, I would say, for CSUN this early on.
Let Soul solo. I agree. Felix now trying to run away. The penalty zone locks him down. Calteezy with the quad shadow 2 right into the shadow kill. The Petrify's still there, but Kyle has a few more quad shadows to use, and he will indeed utilize that to equalize on the board. It's 2-2.
Okay, taking a look at the items here. First items not locked in just yet. But I'm assuming, yeah, this is, we saw this, I believe it was Calteezy who did this before. He got the Skypiercer first on this Hayabusa, and that's what helped him snowball quickly. So for CSUN, if they can figure out a way to stop that from happening, you know, keep Calteezy in his tracks. That's one of the big answers they have to have early game. They've already got good control of these objectives early on, but the thing is it's ultimately even across the board economy-wise, and those first item pickups will start to happen for each of the members here on par. Now for CSUN, like I said, if they don't want to have an issue with the objective fighting, Calteezy again fighting Boxy.
With all those stacks, still Primal Wrath gonna be used up by Boxy. I think he expected Falcons AP.Bren to collapse even more, but now with a big resource burnt out, Boxy, no ultimate. He's still posturing up. He still wants some smoke. Ra walks him forward, goes for the terrifying penalty zone, lock him down straight into the quad shadow. Now is Boxy gonna be taken low. The hammer swings as Cal steals it away. The deadly catch just to disengage, but Super Marco continues this in the back line. The Furious dive to catch Calteezy with that Petrify to find a trade on the board. The Felix will be taken down as well, and Super Marco gets the double. Meanwhile, Soul up top, picking up all of the turret gold.
Hey, that's great for Soul. Again, interesting exchange there. Sorry if Felix does get a kill, but then eventually goes down himself. It's a good thing he took out Calteezy. But this is part of the plan too. Give Soul that extra gold, but the same thing is now happening here on the bottom side. So that little advantage that they were able to get is diminished at this point. Also with Calteezy taking that turtle even and out, looks like they want to make a play.
MP, deadly catch, bursting Ogwin down. Boxy just zoning Super Marco so that no one can really help him. And it's actually a Queen's Wings rush here for Flapteezy. I think that's his second item. Very quick, Soul goes back up top. Flapteezy is actually taking a whole lot of damage here. Soul might be looking for another solo kill, but Flapteezy is still a bit too tanky here. It's a Queen's Wings first item, not even War Axe.
Yeah, not even War Axe. Just wants that sustainability. I guess it works well with the Body of Smith passive, you know, for Trizla. And then, like we mentioned earlier, he has Brave Smite. So this looks like it's going to be a tier 1 down here for FCAP as they get that first turret of the game down on their side. They traded across map, what we saw CSUN do earlier. So now at this point, you see a transition here and I guess we got our answer earlier too. The Bulwark is not going to go ahead and shoot the deadliest catch back to them, but
that's a no-no.
That's a no-no. And at this point too, for Falcons AP.Bren, you know, controlling with a little bit of a lead, it's more so where do we find our pick-off potential, and that's usually on the whims of Flap right now. If he's got Flicker available, you can see the goal difference too fall into place here. Of course, the biggest one, I mean, relatively even. Nothing too crazy, actually, between lane to lane here.
Boxy's taking a bit of damage now. Flap Teasy again. This is why he goes Queen's Wings. He doesn't even need damage. Felix gets zoned away. Just made his mod force. Forced to use the Black Dragon from Boxy. Pops in. The Primal Wrath, but gets deleted. Penalty zone by Flap. And Be the King forced to use the Deadly Catch. Now chased down as the RWM comes down. Felix jumps in back again with the Purify. The Petrify finding 3, but the Purify is right there. Now Ra gonna be caught in the Numenau Blast and the Shadow Kill. But he's still able to flicker out back to safety as Few just continues to walk them down. Not here, sir.
You're gonna walk
there
to your
go.
base.
Yeah, getting walked down to the other side of the map. They pick up a free neutral objective.
You will not recall here. You're gonna have to walk. And actually, so MP the King goes back up. That's turtle secured here now for Falcons AP.Bren. Looks like they're gonna start on this turret too. Boxy jumps in.
Kyle, that's a quad shadow. He has one more. The intrusive thoughts definitely getting to him there, but hey, he's able to make the right decision. Don't go in aggressive. They can just go for the purple buff, and they'll take it away. Now in the mid lane, still with the siege. Boxy's forced to use the Primal Wrath, and even Deadflap just jumps in under the turret, straight into Cal Teasy with the quad shadow. Boxy losing his life, the shadow kill. He was so much damage just to zone them in the back line as Super Marco pops the Zaman Force to take the tier 1 down.
They're doing so. Falcons AP.Bren is doing such a good job at forcing that Primal's Wrath to be utilized or used first by Boxy, and then they follow through. Because again, when you look at the lineup, man, and the items that are falling into place for Falcons AP.Bren, their power in team fighting is really showing the way they layer things on top of each other. The ultimates and even some of the skills. Super Marco, like we saw from Innocent yesterday, man, being very aggressive and upfront with this Harith pick. He's only died once in that exchange in the 1v1 against Soul earlier on, so I feel like now, as you get towards, you know, the next objective is this Lord, Siasoon has to be able to be ready to unleash Soul. Earlier we saw Ra take the real world manipulation. You know, the game, the Land of Dawn basically looked like a board game at that point, but that's something they can work around with. You have Ra with the real world manipulation, you have a deadliest catch, you kind of have to hope that, all right, we get Falcons AP.Bren to use some of the ultimates that they have, withstand the shadow kill from Kyle Teasy, and then possibly be able to re-engage. That's, again, going back to the reference of it's a whole lot of boxes that Siasoon has to box off here, check off here.
It's really tough now, I feel, for Siasoon, right? Because really the proactivity is all on Falcons AP.Bren, and they've been able to utilize it so well. Invading the jungles constantly, even for MP in a pick, with a pick like the Bane. You don't really need that much farm, you're still good anyways. But when the Hayabusa is 2 levels ahead, now down to just 1, but when he's also 1,000 gold ahead on the Assassin, it gets really tough for you. He only has the War Axe, the Endless Battle. Like LaFell said, you know, he usually goes for the Thunderbell, but because maybe in the early game he needs a little bit more damage because the team is kind of lacking damage, he's forced to go for the Endless Battle, and even then you can see the poke from Few, from Flap, onto Boxy even more with the new glowing wand, man. It's just burning him down.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just, we're going to force you to use that Primal Wrath early on so you don't have it for the fight, and they just completely cut off Siasoon. And look at this, the bulwark that Flap Teasy is alone on this Terizla, able to just kind of stand there and look down the eyes of Siasoon and trying to bait them into initiating, and they don't. So the Lord is already taken freely, and big power spikes coming in. A Holy Crystal for Super Marco, a BOD for Kyle Teasy. These are very big items picked up that already increase the power for Falcon AP.Bren when they've been pretty dominant the last 3-4 minutes or so. So they're now going to work on the tier 2 here. MP the King makes his way, but they're just shoved out again, being poked down simply by Few even.
I think if it wasn't for Ra terrifying Flap, that would have been a force by Falcons AP.Bren. Maybe they would have been able to force out all of the flickers, maybe the Black Dragon form as well defensively. So good job for Ra. He was able to disengage from that skirmish that Falcons AP.Bren almost pushed on them, but the fact that they were able to take the Holy Defense down in the bottom lane without the Lord, and now they have another wave coming down, they're going to be able to bait out the Holy Defense from the mid lane too. And the second wave is coming down in the mid lane, so they might be able to do what they did in game number 1. Black Dragon form now by Felix, but he's gonna get gunned down from the sky zone, taken out right as he drops down. Boxy pops in Primal Rat, penalty zone flap, catches them under the real world manipulation. Soul gets a double, but Few does it as well, and it's flap on top of it. It's Soul, the Soul member of See You Soon, up against 3, the flicker forward. Soul absolutely obliterated, this time 11 minutes for Falcons AP.Bren.
It looked like it would take a little bit longer, but Falcons AP.Bren essentially finished the game at same amount of time. And just, you knew there were some tanky members there from See You Soon, but man, even the Dragon form just getting blasted from this lineup of Falcons AP.Bren, not able to withstand that first Lord push. And man, something has to be done here, See You Soon, if they really want to go after the Kings here, the Kings of the world. They got to do something. They got to go back to the drawing board and come up with a better plan, because this was not it. Aside from a couple more kills this game around, it's just still dominance from Falcons AP.Bren.
Getting real scary, man. It's getting real scary for everybody in the same bracket as Falcons AP.Bren, because they have looked absolutely perfect.
Nearly perfect here. Again, let's go ahead and throw it over to our analyst to break down the game number 2.
You know what, Mirko? Trust me when I say, we on the panel here, even though we're not playing, we're pretty scared ourselves. And honestly, looking at this game, a bit more shine for See You Soon. But again, it comes down to, number 1, Kyle Teasy's being amazing on this Hayabusa. This Eve is completely controlling See You Soon. And do we want to touch on the carry pick again?
Yeah. I'll leave that up with Wolf.
Yeah, you know what, Wolf's got that. But what do you guys think of this game?
I believe that Soul is, with all due fairness, I think it's really good. I think this was the game-winning clash, I would say, for FCAP, where they actually just really reeled it in against See You Soon. There wasn't enough damage you've seen, and the fact that they have stopped the potential farm coming out from MP the King as well as Soul was also instrumental on how they won. And of course, this one, 10 minutes in, they're going to be setting up the box once again. And because of the fact that if you pop the real world manipulation first, you'll have so much of a launch pad for Ogwin to eventually pop the ultimate. In this case, it wasn't, but they don't need it because there's a lot of coverage already coming out from Few with the real world manipulation. I think it was genius. And I did say that the Lolita eventually will be picked up by Falcons AP.Bren. I thought that should be the ban, but instead they banned the Grok, understandably so. And it felt like, yeah, that Lolita last pick coming out from FCAP definitely was a problem for See You Soon.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned See You Soon needing to win out in drafts, and right now it feels like FCAP is just completely controlling them. Yeah. Even coming at the Eve pick, coming in with the Lolita pick, some more off-brand picks that are working so well together. Wolf likes to talk about teams controlling the box. Well, FCAP had a literal death box here, and every time See You Soon was caught in it, it was over.
To be fair, the first 3 picks coming up from See You Soon makes a lot of sense to me. Edith is a flex as well. You have the Bane. But I did say that Bane, if you go back to Season 9, Season 10, they hate playing up against Eve all the time. That's why I really love this Eve pick coming up from FCAP. The typical answer to that, though, so that you can mitigate it, is to pick up the Mathilda. And in Season 8 of MPLPH, you remember, it was Blacklist International went for that Master, the Bane plus Mathilda, which is hella scary. I thought that could be a potential fix coming out from See You Soon. And then maybe a Claude, actually. Claude works wonders against Eve. Maybe you're still susceptible from the Lolita, but at the same time, the carry just couldn't cut it, you know?
I mean,
anything but carry.
I feel like MP the King he's feeling claustrophobic because he needed space, but he did not receive any space. The moment he reveals the deadly catch, everyone just gets onto him, and then after that, what are you gonna do as a Bane? So honestly, in this game, it does seem like Falcons AP.Bren, it's not just the draft, it's in terms of the gameplay as well. They're making sure that they're shutting down all the win conditions that See You Soon has.
Yeah. timing of their spells, the fact that they're controlling the mid so much. I think they're shutting down the mid lane rotations coming up from See You Soon. This is Edith plus the Valentina. It should be very fast. It should be very snappy. Go for the flicker plays with your Edith, and then you have the follow-up from the Valentina. But that didn't happen because Lolita was just defensive. This time, the Eve can safely just... It's like a Novaria, but... actually, it's just a Novaria at this point, but from up above, you know, because you clear out the waves without you actually being in front of the waves, with like a Novaria.
Like you're putting yourself outside of the dangerous range, but
that's right.
I don't know, Trax. What else can they do? They even picked up the bait and it didn't work out.
I don't know. It's definitely tough, and FCAP is bringing just this hyper aggressiveness to them. See You Soon is a little too split up sometimes, and FCAP immediately knows that they close in, kind of like with that fight down in the bot lane.
Yeah,
they were just a little late to show up, and then when they were, it was too late. I mean, I don't know. It's big diffs right now.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we got our Sony MVP. So let's check out, because it's gonna be the bulletproof Super Marco. And again, dude, giving Super Marcos a hero like the Harif, we see him just like exploding anyone that's in front of him.
Yeah.
Like at this point, what is he not good at?
You have to always assume
Not good
that
at dying.
It's pretty bad at dying. That's for sure.
There was one solo kill coming out from. This was
Game 1.
No, this was game 1 actually.
Which also showed his dominance as well, Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for FCAP, they have this Harith. They have access to this Harith, and the carry is. I honestly I can say that
Would you
it loses
prefer
the lane.
Beatrix or something?
Yeah, a Beatrix. You know, they can even pick up the Nathan at that point. But again, Lolita is a big threat, so it's probably why they didn't pick it up. But wasn't solved by the carry anyway. So, yeah. There's like even probably a Clint would work versus or an Ixia. You know,
more range.
You need one more range. You know, but carry. Although some players will just argue that, yeah, I can actually win against Harith. And that's usually what they say. Like, usually what gold laners will tell you is that, yeah, I can actually win against the Harith. I will outplay it 9 times out of 10 it won't.
Well, it's not like he's losing against Super Marco in lane. The problem is I don't think the carry's working out in the team fights, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times him and Super Marco will both go 0 deaths, deaths. But then once it comes to these team fights, the carry has to get up close. And the way that FCAP's just bringing this tight formation, bringing things like the Eve, bringing things like the Lolita, carry is just essentially useless in those fights.
I agree. With that being said, this is going to be a little bit rough for See You Soon. With that, we're going to go for a short break, giving times for both teams to prepare. So we're going for a break. And now we're back. Falcons AP.Bren going up against See You Soon. And unfortunately, we do have to say Falcons AP.Bren is 2-0 over See You Soon. And so far, the 2 matches hasn't been close at all. This might be the very first sweep in the knockout stage.
I mean, so far, See You Soon started with 1 kill. Last game, they got to 6 kills. They're growing. They're doing better
So the next
every
one
time.
is 7?
12.
12?
I mean, well, the first one they timed it by 6.
Yeah.
The second, so who knows? Maybe they'll go 36.
We gotta give credit where credit is due.
That's the right mindset.
Maths.
That's a great attitude, actually.
That's a great attitude. You know what? I love it. I love it. You know what? It's like
We got plenty of time
Yep.
to bring it to a game 4.
Yep.
go all 5 games.
Yeah.
See You Soon do it.
Oh
They
man.
can't. They have the formula. It's just that going up against the defending world champions is maybe it's a little bit too tall of an ask. I mean, like, it's good that Falcons AP.Bren, they're making sure people understand their strength, because again, we saw the video earlier. It's like, we'll remind you guys why we are the world champions.
Exactly. And you can see some I would say a good 30 seconds where we're looking at just MP the King is just cheering up people, his teammates. I think he also mentioned when I did an interview with him that one thing that they didn't have, because they didn't have the coaches, is the morale boost that they needed. And he had to kind of also do that too. Apart from the drafting, he also has to take care of his teammates, make sure that they can still fight in this particular game. Well, we'll see how it goes.
MP the GOAT, man.
MP the GOAT.
He does it all, and he's gotta be the GOAT for this one if they want to match out the Falcons AP.Bren. The first thing in my mind when we're looking at the draft here, which, by the way, Falcons AP.Bren first pick, See You Soon. The second pick, Falcons AP.Bren betting out the Fireman's as well as the Valentina. See You Soon betting out the Louis as well as the Chip. The only thing that's in my head right now, don't get a draft that needs a lot of skill. You need something that gets online almost immediately.
Yeah.
I mean,
And maybe not a
definitely-
carry.
At this time, I think they definitely want
Odd
to.
job.
With the Valentina being banned out, do you ban out the Roger? But Ling's open. FCAP just keeps on forcing them into these positions in the banning phase, man. And at this point, it might be leave the Ling and the Roger open. You know, do a throwaway ban here, take something else out.
Yeah. I don't want to give the Ling up. It's so difficult now. But
the
then you have the
Kaja
Julian to answer that. I think that FCAP has just revealed that they do want to take the Ling first pick. They're daring See You Soon to ban it out. Otherwise, they will take Harith or Roger. Great picks overall. And even the Moskov is still available for FCAP if ever that happens.
They're going to go for the trade.
They're going to challenge it. They're going to challenge a possible Ling pick here. Unless Falcons AP.Bren is like, you know what? We'll just grab the Roger. But do you really want to give MP the Ling?
Yeah,
Just
well,
giggles, you know.
Oh, they let
did.
MP the King get the Ling?
No.
with the Ling.
Oh, wait, sorry.
it's not-
Falcons takes the Ling.
Kyle the Ling.
Soon
Yeah,
quickly
Kyle the
responds with the Roger. And the Angela.
Oh.
Just to deny it.
Okay, good deny. I love the Angela pick here. And the Valentina being banned means that you don't have the necessary access to it.
They pick up a Terizla here?
Yep. Terizla. Yeah, they do love the Terizla. And then probably...
Yeah,
Ooh, of course, Harith.
What about Ruby for See You Soon against the Ling?
Well, they pick up the Arlet. I would have recommended the Yuzhong though, because they play it so well.
I
Then this is a flex anyways. Arlet can be played the EXP as well as the...
What about
Rome.
Tigreal, though?
Yep,
For See You Soon.
for sure.
I mean, if the Kaja was open, the Kaja would have been an amazing pick. But again, good foresight coming in from Falcons AP.Bren, the world champions, banning out the Kaja. So See You Soon. Are they looking at the mid? Eve
Nice.
gets banned out.
Then you ban Bane, right?
Should
Your
you?
FCAP.
See You Soon, should you try to ban out the Farsa? Or do you feel like it's fine?
Yeah, I think you still ban the Farsa. Imagine that there is the jumping with the Ling and then the Farsa ultimate to go with it. That's it's very scary.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like everything's scary right now. It's what do you...
That's
At this
also
point,
true.
few can use a fighter in this carry.
Yep.
Beatrix mid, bro.
It's good. Okay, I believe that the Angela should be mid, and then you go Yeah, Tigreal. The Grok also makes a lot of sense. The Cho. They ban the Minotaur. Season really wants to make... we'll definitely get damaged junglers now. Either Roger or go for Julian eventually.
At this point, I want Falcons AP.Bren to ban out the carry. Just saying.
Just
letting
for
you guys
good
know.
measure.
Yeah.
If this is a carry pick from See You Soon, I'm just gonna...
You're done?
I'm just done.
I'm done.
You know, I'm gonna get back to the hotel and then let Nice take over here. I think Leo's free today, and I'm gonna call him. Hey Leo, just do it for me.
I mean, they could still go for that Yuzong pick and...
No, Yuzong banned.
Oh, Yuzong's banned.
Right, so the options, they're dwindling down.
What about X-Borg?
Edith.
Against the Riz? How does the...
I think it go Cho.
I like the
Boxy.
Cho pick. I like the Cho pick. At least some kind of pick off, because Boxy the King is a pick off master. That's why his Kaja is feared. So let's hope he has a lot of practice on this show. And on the X-Borg pick, I feel like it's just slightly, you know, like against Harif as well as Ling might not be a great shot here. But either ways, Arlen is gonna go EXP anyways.
So you need lockdown from FCAP here.
Vexana? Is that one of the heroes we're looking at here?
I would say Aurora for
Aurora,
FCAP.
yeah.
And then Edith, perhaps. So that you have, they go tag. They snatch it. Oh, well, they don't need the Tiger Limo, but yeah. Aurora looks good for FCAP.
And then See You Soon closes out with a carry.
Or Beatrix. Or anything.
Vexana, okay.
Vexana Tigreal, very solid mid lane, very fast rotations, and you can definitely poke them out and engage quite a few fights. So now we got to look at See You Soon, and they pick up the Natan.
Okay.
Well, this time there is no Lolita, so there's hope.
Okay. Let's go. See You Soon.
Let's go See You Soon.
No carry. They're going to win it.
Naisu, you don't have to worry. You don't have to replace Wolf. The carry was not picked. The draft has been done by Falcons AP.Bren as well. See You Soon. It's either 3-0 or it's going to be a 2-1. With that being said, we're heading it over to the casters.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Again, welcome to the Caster Desk. Naisu and Mirko here. And you know what, Wolf, you can stay there a little bit longer. I'm sure you're going to be there for a while today. But yes, no carry pick this time around. And, you know, honestly, it feels like this time, if Falcons AP.Bren wants to do what they've done the previous two games by ending it in 11.5 minutes, they could do it with this lineup as well. As we jump into the land of dawn, it's match point here in this best of 5 between Falcons AP.Bren and See You Soon. And also, yeah, we thought that maybe, you know, MP the King would go ahead and get his hands on the Ling, but it's taken for Kyle Teasy here.
Yeah, the fact that they also kind of they were forced to put the Roger in the jungle, right? Because they needed MP to go for these carry picks as well. He needs to be the one dealing damage in the mid lane. Ra's doing a good job, and this is what the Cho provides for See You Soon. Outside of the, you know, obviously pick-off heavy playstyle that See You Soon strives with, it's also the mid-prio that we've been talking a whole lot about. In an early game, I think it's very important for a team like See You Soon, a team that has been very, very aggressive, wants to go for ganks, wants to get the fast pace to get the early game mid-prio. But other than that, though, the fact that MP was forcing the jungle on the Roger just made it so easy for Ogwen to go and lock in that Tigreal. Because now it's going to be an easy pick, and for Soul even, I like that it's not a carry. Don't get me wrong here. But also, when is he going to be online? Like, Falcons AP.Bren, they have a very fast-paced early game composition too. And if they get a lead with the first two turtles, I don't think we're going to get those full items on Natan. Not even a power spike, maybe.
Yeah. Natan needs a while, man. You know, and that's the thing. Like, if you're basing off the previous two games, 11.5 minutes or so around that ballpark, you really got to hope that See You Soon extends this game further and hopefully...
See? This is what I was talking about. Soul up top on the Natan. Right on cue. How is he going to survive the kill pressure of a Harith plus a Ling? I mean, the Harith alone is just ridiculous. That's an auto-winning lane even against the carry. Now against the Natan.
Yep, and you know, it's crazy because yesterday we saw, and Wolf talked about this pretty extensively. I think he called it the Natan like bomb move, where he was able to just burst members down. But usually that was the 18+ minute mark. Strange here in the bottom.
Penalty zone onto Felix. He has the Vengeance, goes in for it. Flicker is out. Flap TZ out of Boxy King's range. He was definitely looking for that Way the Dragon, but it's a good neutral objective pick. At least for Soon, right? They're utilizing Falcons AP.Bren's maneuvers up top to get more prio in towards the other side of the map. Boxy not able to go for the Way the Dragon. No one there to follow up.
Yeah, no one there. And, you know, going back to it, I think that's the thing. Soon, they can lock down some of the objectives and kind of withstand the assault that's going to come from Falcons AP.Bren early on. That's great for them. Because really, that's the play, especially when you have a link across from you. I mean, MP the King knows this very well. He knows how to go ahead and counterplay into this. And since, you know, because Kyle Teasy, the way he's going to be moving around, putting pressure with a Harith like we talked about, Soon's got to rely on pickoff potential that they have with Boxy the King. On the Cho here, okay, already forcing out Sariam Felix. And part of that, too, is utilizing this Angela. The Angela and Roger can actually still be pretty devastating. You know, it can actually work really well together. I still am going to stand by the fact that I think, you know, I'd rather see the Angela in the roam, but because of the case that this is Boxy, it's better that he does play the Cho. It's a pick-off potential hero, and you can hopefully turn the tide here. Again, Boxy has been with Soon since the beginning. You know, he's a mainstay here. A lot of these guys have. Oh, Sariam Felix.
Final Flash Flicker. Ogwin just flickers out. Boxy.
Okay.
You really didn't have to say his name.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
I was going
to say, nice. So you've been here for a long time too. You should know.
Mirka, it's
not
weird.
to do that, bro.
As soon as earlier I was talking about Soul,
exactly.
You know, saying that now Boxley. All right. Well, you know, that's the Thunderbelt picked up first for Sariam Felix, like we saw Flap do in Game 1. So maybe this will help. Again, it's also up to him using the final slashes and initiating some of these team fights once that flicker's available. But right now it just seems pretty kind of nothing's going to happen too crazy at Boxy, though.
Way the Dragon. Shunpo. Good Shunpo out of the
But now he doesn't have it.
But yeah, he doesn't have the Way the Dragon. Doesn't have the Shunpo. But he will be able to zone view and away. In the back line, gets terrified. No Eternal Guard, but the Explosion catches two! That's the Eternal Guard and the penalty zone. MP the King forced back, trying to go for the Retribution. At least he can get that. No, Kyle takes it away from him. MP will be forced to run away back to his own jungle.
Oh, man. Again, a great utilization of Falcons AP.Bren, taking information that, all right, Boxy used the flicker earlier, tried to get something to set off, and then they punish him. And I mean, look at the lane alone that's happening in the gold lane, right? Super Marco is just pushing as much as he can, putting pressure there. It leaves Soul like, all right, I got to rotate here in the mid lane.
Boxy getting a good kick onto Fuse, straight into Soul's damage, and Ra, he's the one who picks up the kill. It's probably the worst member to give the kill over to. Now it's going to be Kyle TZ who walks up forward, just relieving some of the pressure as Super Marco shoves up a full wave up top.
All right, taking a look at the items real quick here. Berserker's Fury already there for Kyle TZ, and then working on the next. War Axe 2 here for Flap. And on the other side, like I said, Thunderbelt's already locked in there. It's good that Raw has the Flask of the Oasis, helps a little bit more sustain through some of the initiations that's going to happen from Falcons AP.Bren. I think main point, though, is yes, Boxy, his work is cut out from this game. Because, again, what's at stake here? Match point, your key as well. You don't want to see that get crushed this early on, so they have to kind of rely on everything falling into place with the lineup that they brought. And Angela so far has done great things for teams that have drafted her. But yeah, okay, MP the King's going to hold on to that purple buff at least. So still, you know, it's up to the whims of Boxy.
Good terrifying. Now with the way the Dragon locking Ogwin down, but that's going to be an Eternal Guard into the Implosion and a penalty zone too. The combo now as Felix jumps with Vengeance and the final slash. The turnaround. Soul is free, hitting together with MP the King. And they're going to be able to finally find a favorable trade. But then, right as I say that, they get turrets on the bottom lane. Marco's cutting up top, so he should be able to get another two.
That's a thing that they always do, right? There's a great team fight there for Soon, but they also lose something. With Falcons AP.Bren and a team like this, you're not always just going to come out unscathed. You're eventually going to lose something. It's kind of a give and take with them. And so with that, Soon able to get a couple wins there. Again, that was the power of the Angela as well. Good item pickups here. Boxy once again looking for his own setup with the Way of the Dragon. Turtle's going to start up. Starlium Scythe now also locked in for Soul.
Final slash on the Flap TZ. Oka with a shove back in the back line. Now Boxy finding the Way of the Dragon, but no one's there to follow it up. The Implosion finds 3, and it's going to be traded back now. Soul is able to get the entropy back towards safety. But again, for Falcons AP.Bren, they have found the favorable trade. That's 2 for 1 and a neutral objective. Just so clinical.
Yeah. And that's Flap's job, honestly. Like, anytime you have the Trizla, you know that you're innately tanky. You have Body of Smith, and he has the Brave Smite emblem as well. He's got the War Axe, like we mentioned. Fight for the purple, and it's taken. Oh, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. Now just flying past people. 1,000 gold ahead already. Boxy's looking for a pick, but even then, right, he's really going to have to calculate a whole lot. If he goes on to Super Marco, there's a Purify. It's a bit tough to go on Few because he's always just next to Ogwen, and he can just try to look for an implosion. Marco again dodging away from the final slash, just with a little bit of a sidestep there. Pops into Zaman Force 2 and now clears up the wave.
Super Marco uses his Summon Force just, you know, anytime nearly
every time it's up.
He's just utilizing it to farm, to put pressure on these objectives, these turrets. Again, Boxy. Oh,
penalty zone straight into Soul. The entropy gets him up, but Kyle's finishes him off under the tier 2. Ogwen! Implosion onto 3, finding them all. The final slash gets them with a disengage, but now Felix is all alone, right with MP the King, who goes in forward. Synchrofish and takes him out. It looked good for a second, but then you remember it's Falcons AP.Bren.
Oh, we're going to take a look at the STC replay here. Again, a great setup from FlapTZ under the turret, and then look for Ogwen as well.
Masterful.
What an implosion. Brings him back to the team. Still, again, the sustain coming out from this lineup with the Angela is great from Seosun, but still, Super Marco jumps in again as soon as that he sees that opening with his Almond Force. You can see Flap here, of course, feeling pretty good about that. And, you know, that's the thing. It's the trading of ultimates that happens here for Falcons AP.Bren, where, you know, one will initiate sometimes, most of the time it's Flap, and then Ogwen follows up. And the rest of the team, I mean, we're not even talking about the Eternal Guard. That knockup that comes from that also plays a part in this whole game plan here. So already just, there's the endless battle now for Kyle He's got 3 items locked in already on this Ling. Very strong, 1,000 gold ahead of MP the King here. Now that Lord's up though, this is the thing for Seosun. They have to watch out for the initiation, just like we saw previously. Falcons AP.Bren will go ahead and get set up here. Conceal going to be used just to possibly make a play on Soul. They get spotted out though, so they're forcing them back. At least they get sights on these members from Seosun. They're going to have to keep Raw there, kind of keeping the waves under control though. And now this might be some form of a semblance of an actual Lord dance. The Holy Crystal is also picked up here for Super Marco. No team, though, want to commit to the Lord just yet, waiting for the waves to be managed here. Boxy, can he make a play? He's been doing it time and time again so far. No flicker available for Sorry on Felix. So Lord's going to get pulled out. Boxy has the information. He's going to get spotted out now. There he is.
Terrified, shoved back and deleted. Boxy open. Flickers forward, unable to find that. Now Felix with the final slash, going to be displaced right now. The penalty zone locks him back in the back line. Super Marco, Zaman Force, Felix going to be dealt with by Kaltizi and Ogwen. And again, it's Falcons AP.Bren. Utilize the chaos in their favor.
How? Again, with Seosun, they lose 2 members plus the objective in the exchange for Falcons AP.Bren, and now in a position where they're going to be marching in with this Lord here. Getting themselves 3,000-4,000 gold ahead. Seosun on the defense, looking at the items. You're still looking for that Holy Crystal for Soul. You know, he's been trying to farm as much as he could, but he's just behind right now, especially against Super Marco. We'll see if he's able to lock it in, and once that Holy Crystal does come online, will he be able to help with the defense here as they try to hold on to this tier 2 in the mid. But lanes pushing in, Lord on the top side. Seosun's going to find themselves for a defense for possibly their lives here at the mid-season cup. Their lives and their key as well against Falcons AP.Bren as now they approach the base here. Lord still working on those minions top side, looking to pop these shields.
They already got one Holy Defense in the mid lane. Baited out. Still have a couple of waves crashing down into the base. Bottom lane dealing with a Holy Defense again as MP the King gets thrown there. Ogwen has the Concealed Soul, finds the Holy Crystal. That's actually pretty good timing. Boxy goes to the back line, finding Few with a way to drag him, but in the back line is going to be Ogwen. Gets deleted as well. Now Soul engaged upon Kaltizi on the top of the blades. Is that Boxy getting deleted? Kyle will lose his life, and it's a good defense from Seosun. Now chasing Super Marco down. He doesn't have the Zaman Force anymore, trying to run away as MP continues to chase with a Lycan form. Go with Lycan Pounce, finding the shutdown. MP the King with the chase again. Now with the Lycan form, looking for the pounce. Few gonna be taken down now by Ra. It's a wipeout for See You Soon.
See You Soon. With their backs against the wall with a lead from Falcons AP.Bren will extend further into the game. And MP the King now feeling it after that wipeout. Now Falcons AP.Bren, it looks like, you know, maybe they were a little too overzealous pushing that one in. That was a mistake on their part, and a great play from See You Soon, finally able to stay in this game, and that might be enough now. Again, when we talk about the lineup they have to buy the time for Seoul here on this Natan. MP the King, though, also just pretty much online, evens things out really well against Kyle Teasy. So now this kind of checks Falcons AP.Bren, you know? And as we take a look at the items here, look at that already locked in. He's got that Feather of Heaven, he's got the Starlium Scythe, the Holy Crystal, and he's working on the next here. Could possibly also for some more penetration with the Divine Glaive if he goes that route. But hey, I think Falcons AP.Bren, they're like, all right, we gotta be careful on the next push there. And this also pushed See You Soon in a good position for the next Lord.
It really does, and I was actually really impressed, right? The fact that Seoul was still able to get the Holy Crystal at, I would say, a normal time. The fact that he got the Holy Crystal there before the defense started, before the full fight started, and now he already has the Blood Wings. So really, really fast items for Seoul despite the early shutdown by Falcons AP.Bren up top by Kyle Teasy as well.
Okay. Lord once again, and this is like, you know, the new version of the Lord dance that we're seeing a lot of these teams kind of go about. We'll start out Boxy though.
Good terrified final slash 3-man. Ogun finds the implosion right now. That's hitting Soul free, hitting in the back line, but Kyle finds the Tempest of Blaze, knocks Soul up, finds a double. Now it's gonna be Felix dealt with. Kyle's looking for the triple kill, and he will not be able to find it. Felix able to use the Vengeance one more time, and the good lockdown as MP the King also takes him out of the back. That's a triple kill now locked in by Kyle Teasy, but MP is hungry for more. Few gonna be ran down by MP. MP the King, now MP the Lycan as he scratches Few down. It's a triple kill for MP.
Oh man, MP the King. We're gonna take a look at the SCC replay again. Initiation started here, and look at the layering from Falcons AP.Bren. Kyle Teasy will find Soul, and that's a huge part, but they don't have an answer for the healing and sustainability coming out with Ra and MP the King. Literally taking this series and saying, you know, we're gonna put this on our shoulders and go through it. Can they continue to do that? Kyle, though, is he going to be able to seal this?
He has a way to Dragon. He will be able to find it. Kyle Teasy locked down MP with the Lord. Tempest of Blaze, the Great Escape. Soul takes him out with the entropy forward.
The shifts have shifted. As now See You Soon is now in the driver's seat for this game with this Lord coming up here. Again, looking at the items. Ra also picking up the Holy Crystal. He already had the fleeting time. And this is difficult now for Falcons AP.Bren. Malik Roar going to be locked in for Kyle Teasy here. And once again, it's more so the fact of Falcons AP.Bren being like, all right, we got to respect this timing, this power spike of this lineup. Divine Glaive also locked in for Soul. This is the moments where you see these Natans really pop off. Lord going to go ahead and charge in. And now See You Soon, first time of the series, going to be approaching the base.
Look at the entropy now by Soul, taking the turret down in the bottom lane, all alone, dealing so much damage. Boxy finding Few with Way of the Dragon right into the final slash, and Few will just be taken out by Soul. Boxy losing immortality, Super Marco getting rid of him now as he jumps in with his Zaman Force. Felix Vengeance not able to find more just yet, but the hard guard is on him. Ogwin finds a big implosion straight into the penalty zone, now bringing MP the King back into Kyle Teasy. Tapping the blade, Soul not able to survive. Again, Falcons AP.Bren finding the play. It's a good synchro vision to cancel out the final slash. Felix with the flicker out, but Marco finds the triple. Falcons AP.Bren have wiped See You Soon out.
And with that wipeout, they're just gonna run it down mid. A couple seconds here left for Boxy, but I'm not sure if he's gonna have enough time.
All alone on the Cho, his signature pick. Falcons AP.Bren looking for the end. Boxy the King gonna be knocked up now with the Zaman Force 2. See You Soon were made to be stronger, but they are up against the strongest.
And the Falcons decisively ground the Owls. The reigning champions of the world will defeat the one who once conquered the Sky Kings, and will be sending them out of the knockout stage here. Falcons AP.Bren, man. Just when you thought Siasoon would be able to switch things around, they were in the base. But that last team fight, miscalculated from Siasoon, taking things a little bit too far. Thought they had the power spikes they needed, the items they needed to go toe-to-toe in the team fight. But Falcons AP.Bren waited. They waited for that hard guard to be done. They waited to reinitiate, and they layered again the ultimates they brought to this table with this composition and won that team fight to change